A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, The Twin Flame Union. In today's channeling session, or rather, this is a combination of guidance, channeling, and at the same time information. Because ever since I have been talking about asexual relationships or sexual versus asexual or love versus lust, I am getting so many comments from people. Even in therapy, some people have asked me this question. Should we not have sex? 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 The same question has been asked to me by so many people. And in the past few days also, I was supposed to do a channeling, yet another channeling on sexual and asexual. But sometimes we can't get the information straight away. We have to wait for the information because we don't just want to say things, just like that and then later on be questionable for it. As it is, there are so many people who are ready to pin you down with their negativity. So you don't want to, deal with all of that unnecessarily. There has to be a reason for it. I mean, if you throw negativity to someone, it's all right. We are very happy with negativity also, because let's understand, in twin flame journey, whether you don't understand it right now or not, even the negativity that the DM has shown to you by running away, this is the only negativity that is going to take you to your actual inner work. So sometimes negativity is good, but excess of anything is bad. And excess of even goodness is not good. Too much goodness is also not a good thing. And this is the reason why in the twin flame journey, we want to come to the balance of everything. Now, same thing happens with sexual relationships. Let's understand, if you consider love and lust to be the same thing, then you are not understanding anything. If you only look at your twin flame and you want to have sex with them all the time, then how are you different from any other person? You are the same person then, who's full of lust. You have not yet figured out that you should love your twin flame not with your genitals, but with your heart and soul. I have never said this to people, that asexual relationships does not mean that you don't touch each other anymore. I have given so many examples with pets, with children, how we love our pets, how we love our children. Don't we love them? Don't we give them hugs and kisses? I have even mentioned this point to people in one of the channelings and also in information videos, that because parents did not hug their children, kiss their children, hold their children, they did not give them intimacy, the real type of intimacy, when they grow up, they become hypersexual. Most of the people who are into too many one-night stands and too many flings are the same children who were not given either, intimacy, like even little bit of intimacy, they were ignored a lot. The mother did not keep the child close to her chest enough, close to her heart chakra. There is a reason why we hug people. Why hugging is considered to be such a beautiful thing. There has to be a reason behind all the things, and we must, as a twin flamer, we need to question everything. Because when we give hugs to people, we keep them close to our heart chakra. So while hugging also, we exchange energy, and people who don't have a good energy, like how molesters do it, how pedophiles do it, even when they hug a child, they have so much lust towards a child. So it's a very negative, very demonic type of a hug. It can actually disturb someone. Sometimes people keep looking at you, they keep staring at you, and you feel so uncomfortable. All they are doing is they're just staring at you, right? Why do you feel uncomfortable? Because in your childhood, someone stared at you way too much, so now anyone looking at you makes you uncomfortable. So that's why they say, even in the look, my lover can give me love. Don't they say these things? My beloved can look at me once and I feel the love. These are statements. Sometimes they are used as poetry, sometimes they're used as romantic verses. Sometimes, one and girlfriend, boyfriend just say it to each other to compliment each other. But sometimes they have a meaning also. So this is the reason why hugging, kissing, but hugging and kissing has to come from a place of unconditional love. If it is constantly coming from lust, it is not love. Okay. Now somebody wrote to me today, is it true that there is no physical intimacy in twin flame journey? Now listen to these type of, when I read these type of comments, I find it very hilarious. Okay, I find it very funny, but at the same time it makes me wonder. Sometimes I think that when I do this channelings, what are people listening to? Some of the people just don't get the point and they say something entirely different. So you always told, I'll read it again. Is it true that there is no physical intimacy in twin flame journey? You always told the story of Sita, Shri Ram and Sita, perfect twin flame couple. If there was no physical intimacy in their twin flame journey, how Love Kush started their journey? So I don't understand, when did I say there is no physical intimacy? And who says, this is my reply and please listen to it and then I'll explain. And who says that in asexual relationship people don't touch each other? I have spoken about lust very clearly, and also having sex to reproduce a child is not same as fucking each other every day. So you are willing to talk about Ram and Sita, but are you willing to be as mission oriented as them? Are you willing to live in the woods for 14 years? Are you willing to go for exile like Sita did for the sake of her husband's commitment towards the throne? So my point towards everyone is, I talk about gods and goddesses. You only listen to the fun they are having. You only listen to the good things they are doing. When I talk about the relationships they have been into, I always say that they have suffered way more than you. And this is the reason why I talk about them. People listen to Shiva and Shakti story. People listen to Shiva and Parvati and they say, wow, Shiva and Parvati living in the Kailasha. Wow, so nice. Nobody is bothered about the fact that they had to take, like Parvati had to literally die once as Sati and then she was reborn as Parvati. It was not easy for them to get into union, my dear friends. Union is not a lollipop that you can buy from a store, from a candy store and get it. And sometimes I tell people, they come to me, okay, I'll take one chakra therapy or one therapy from you and will I be in union? What do you think I am? Have I opened a union store over here, Twin Flame Union candy store? That's not how it works. You need to put in efforts. You need to do inner work. Inner work is not a joke. Inner work is not a joke. So when people ask these type of questions, it's hilarious, but at the same time, I want to clarify this to every single person who's listening to my channelings or they are doing this type of inner work. What is the journey from sexual to asexual? It is the journey from 3D to 5D. So in the three-dimensional reality, when two people get married, it is understood that they will have sex every night. In some cases, have you ever heard about women getting raped by their own husband? You haven't, right? I am sure you have. The intelligent ones must have heard about these things. But this channeling is for everyone. So if you feel bad, if you get triggered, don't take it personally. It is specially meant for people who ask these type of questions to me. You have to understand, being in this position, sometimes it can get difficult for us also. What is happening, man? What is happening? What is going on? Inner work means to go inside you. That's why it's called inner work. You go within, you go inside of you and you look for the reasons why you are in a separation. Why do you feel separate from your divine masculine or your divine feminine? Mostly it should be the DFs are doing this type of inner work, so they need to look within themselves. Some of the DFs, they constantly blame the DM, constantly blaming the DM day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night. He has done this, he has done that, he has done this, he has done that. And then they only tell me that he's so nice to the karmic. He's buying presents for the karmic. He's taking karmic out for the shopping. He's doing this, they are in the vacation right now. He got married to the karmic. He got engaged to the karmic. Why is he doing all these things for the karmic and why not for you? You need to ask that question. Because if he was totally bad, he was totally wrong, he was totally incapable of loving you, or any woman, then why is he able to do all these things for a karmic? Why are you not able to generate the same kind of love from him? So you need to look within. And then when you also look within yourself, it's not in order to blame the whole world, like this one did this to me, that one did this to me, blah, blah, blah. It is to understand that you are here for a special purpose on planet Earth. You are not here to just have sex and reproduce all the time. Please understand the plight of women, the plight of children who've gotten sexually abused. at the hands of pedophiles, at the hands of abusers. Ask them this question. What do they think about sex? For them, for a child who gets molested at an age of 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, 11, 12, you know what happens to them for the next so many years? They live in guilt and shame. They constantly think that they have done something wrong. It's not easy to be in their position. Ask those women whose husband demand them to have sex every single day. Every single day they tell them, if you're not going to do it with me, I'll beat the hell out of you. I'll slap you, I'll humiliate you. There are women who don't want to produce children, they don't want to reproduce, but they are forced to reproduce, forced, literally forced by the whole family, by the mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, sister-in-laws. For days and days, they are being told, you're not good enough because you're not giving us a child. We need a child, we need a child, we need a child. The husband needs a child, the man needs a child. They all want a child. And does she get to be happy after she gets a child? Will this torture stop for her? No. As a twin flamer, as an ascensioner, as a soul worker, as a light worker, as a star seed, you are here on planet Earth. Do something different than what people in three-dimensional world are doing. You are supposed to spread true love. True love is not about materialistic things. Please understand, if you constantly think about, you're fascinated by this thing, you're imagining having sex or, doing some kind of sexual things with your DM all the time, I am sorry to say, you are not experiencing the twin flame love yet. Please understand. So when you love someone, if you truly love someone, don't you feel like touching them lovingly? Don't you feel like putting a hand on their head? Don't you feel like putting an arm around them and going for a walk? Don't you feel like holding their hands? Or is it only limited to those people with whom you have sex with? This is a question that you need to ask. And there are some people I have noticed, they compare their life with God and goddesses. They only compare the fun the gods and goddesses are having. In fact, it's not even from my perspective. I've been reading about gods and goddesses since childhood, and this one thing has always made me feel the respect or, the love, the emotion, or even the commitment that I need to do my inner work comes from the gods and goddesses. Why? Because they have taken up so much. An ordinary person cannot even think about it, cannot even imagine in their heads. So why do I say Ram and Sita are the twin flame gurus? There is a reason why I say this, and you please all need to understand. Why do I make a prayer? If you have ever taken a reading with me, then you would have experienced that I make a prayer to Ram and Sita first before I start the reading. Why? Because what they have done on planet Earth, no other couple can do, despite being married, despite being in love, and despite having a child. Also, I want to answer this one more question to the intelligent and the non-intelligent people both. Whosoever is there, whether you hate me or whether you love me, it's okay. I still need to do my work with utmost honesty. In the Satyug, in the Treta Yug, in the Dwapar Yug, and if you have not read the Puranas, the Vedas or the Upanishads, I would recommend you please read them. Please study metaphysics that comes from the Indian subcontinent. It is a science wonderland. If you love science and true science, I'm not talking about the science they teach in the schools and colleges. If you love science, if you love metaphysics, if you love quantum physics, quantum mechanics, or quantum mysticism, if any of these things fascinate you, and most importantly, if you genuinely want to get into a twin flame union, then you need to study all these books. At least start studying it if you have not yet studied. And to make it, more enjoyable experience, this is the reason why I talk about all of them. Okay? So, back in those days, the technology, the science is so advanced that women, read any book, okay, read Mahabharata, read Ramayana, you will find out that women did not always reproduce via their womb. They did not. And if they did, then they would always create another child which is not via the womb. Parvati did it. How she did it? Parvati's first son was Kartikeya and the other son was Ganesh. How did this happen? So first Kartikeya was a biological child of Shiva and Parvati, but nowhere it's mentioned or written that she gave birth via the womb. Because the gods and goddesses were very, very, very advanced. In Mahabharata also, none of the Pandavas were born via the womb. None of them. In fact, Yudhishthir, he got so angry towards the end of the war when he found out that Karna was actually his brother. He gave this curse to his mother, and he didn't curse only Kunti. He said that in the coming times, all women would not be able to hide their womb. If they make relationships with a man, if they reproduce, if they make a child, then they would have to show it. And this curse was given to the women of dark ages, for the coming dark ages. Okay. Second son that Parvati gave birth to was not via biological means. In fact, Shiva was not even present, because that's the time when Shiva was in a runner phase and he had gone away to meditate. Parvati was all alone and she gave birth to Ganesha. She created Ganesha by herself with her own powers. And when Shiva came back, he didn't even know that Ganesha was born and that Ganesha was his son. He got so angry with Ganesh that he actually cut his head off. Okay, because he didn't know it was his son or it was Parvati's son. And then later on, he had to rejoin the head, because when he found out the whole story that, okay, when I was gone, she did this, and there's a reason they do it, because it brought them back in union also, because Parvati became completely independent, that I don't need even Shiva to have a child. If I want a child, I can create a child using my own powers. My own spiritual powers are more than enough to create a child. And then Shiva put on Ganesha's head, he put the head of an elephant baby. And that's how, if you look at Ganesha's pictures, he has an elephant head. Okay. And why he did that? Obviously Shiva is one of the biggest animal loving God. He loves animals more than human beings. So for him, putting a baby elephant's child on his son's body was the best thing. So this, eventually both of them created the son, because he brought him back to life by putting the elephant head on his son. Same thing Sita did. Love was born biologically, but Kush was born from Kusha. Kusha means grass. So she used grass, and using the grass and her spiritual powers, she created Kush. So they were twin boys for sure, Love and Kush. But Love was born with biological ways and Kush was born with Kusha. So these are the stories in the Puranas, in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. All these stories are written and these stories are shared all over the internet. You can have a look at them on Quora. There are many of the mythological tales. I mean, we people don't like to call it mythology. This name mythology was given to this study by the British people who had colonized us, because they wanted this study to go down into the dumps. They never wanted people to get back to this type of education. So are you willing to go to exile? Are you willing to live in the ashram? Are you willing to be all by yourself when you do inner work? Are you able to do all the things that Parvati has done to get into union? Are you willing to suffer as much as they have suffered? You want to talk about the sex, but you don't want to talk about the inner work. So please don't compare yourself with gods and goddesses. At least attempt to see their pain. At least attempt to see how mission oriented they have been. For them, nothing is more than mission. Why do you think Radha and Krishna did not get married? Radha and Krishna are the eternal lovers. Even today, devotees have seen them together. So many stories are there where true devotees have seen Radha and Krishna together, literally sitting together. Why is that happening? They both got married to other people. Radha was married to someone else, Krishna was married to someone else. Then why? Because their love was not sexual in nature. There was no lust, there was no drop, no ounce, no point of lust in the way they loved each other. There are stories that Radha and Krishna used to dance with each other. But if you are going to see love from those glasses of genitals, wearing your genitals on your eyes, I am sorry to say you cannot understand what what true love means. What is a 5D union? You don't understand it then. So you love someone, you care for someone, automatically you will do things for them. You'll cook a meal for them, you'll lie down next to them. But from a person who's full of lust, if he sees two people lying down on the bed together, how will they see it? They will see it in a very cheap way. They will see in a very sexual way. Oh, they are lying down together. Wow. Having a lot of fun, huh? Good. Keep it up. That's how they will speak to them. So it totally depends on how you view a relationship, how you have been raised, or what is the type of mental programming you have been given. What did you see in your environment? What did you see, around you? A man who comes from work buys a gajra which probably costs 2 rupees or 4 rupees, looks at his wife and puts it around her bun. There is so much love in that. Okay, but nowadays it's like, okay, I'm gonna give a bouquet, a nice big bouquet to my girlfriend, then we are gonna book a room in a hotel, and we'll have sex. That's not love, my friends. If you're considering or thinking that is love, sorry. The only reason why you need to do this inner work is so that you reach to a point where you can literally receive true love and not be trapped in this type of romantic conspiracy that people do. Alright, so don't compare your lives with gods and goddesses, or don't compare your life with people who have literally slogged a lot to be where they are. First do it, first go through it. I wanted to share a detailed video on sexual to asexual. I don't know if I do it or not in future, but I was planning to share it on my other channel, which is Sunamoon Vlogs, which is more focused on sharing information which is related to the world of metaphysics and how it can help twin flamers. So please, if you want, you can subscribe to that channel and watch out for the space. But there is one more thing I want to say to all of you people, that as much as you are listening to the channelings, you also need to focus. You need to go within. You need to go within and you need to find the flaws. That's the conch shell. The priest plays it every evening where I live, just next to my house. And one more time. So the ladies are chanting in the background, and I live right next to a temple. Actually, my house is situated very close to here, so I keep listening to the chantings all day long. So you are also getting to hear it in the background. That's all I wanted to say. Nothing special about it. Anyway, so thank you so much for being here with me. I hope it has answered some people's questions, but I know there is more needed in this. If you are going through some confusion about lust and love, please do some research work on your sacral chakra blocks, because you could be having sacral chakra blocks since childhood. So one love and peace out, and I'll see you soon in another one.